Hey everyone. Um, haven't made a video in a really long time. Looks like the lighting in here is really bad. But I'm just going to go ahead and just deal with this because the message is more important whether or not you can see me great. Um, I have been under a really bad psychic attack. It's been going on for a really long time and it is taking its toll on me. I don't know if you can tell that I've lost more weight. Um, that's not because I'm purposely starving myself, it's because I'm losing weight. I used to only weigh about barely 100 pounds my whole life, so I was a lot thinner. I'm starting to get more back to what I used to be like. Um, but I'm not aging any either, and that's because of all the collagen and great benefits of the herbal remedies that I do. So I still have no wrinkles. Like I said, the lighting is just really, really bad in here. So I do apologize. The next video I make, I'll make sure the lighting's better. Okay, I want to talk about like your lobbyist. I've been doing a lot of research, and everybody who ever looks at any of my videos knows that I don't really particularly stay on one subject or a not. I jump around, and the reason is because I try to learn as much as I can. So with that being said, I started paying attention to some of these other groups. I watched a long video about the, is it the AOC or AOLC, something like that, whatever that is, I can't remember. My brain is scattered. And it was talking about how it got formed, how now they stand up for these rights, and how much power and pull that they have. And I never really paid much attention to them. So it kind of brought some stuff up front that I already knew, but I didn't really pay too much attention to. So I'm going to do my best to kind of enlighten you on some things that you may not have known. Now, I've got cats jumping all over the place. Like I said, we've all been under a tremendous amount of stress, and this is why I kind of really want all this to end. I'm over it. I'm ready to move on. My animals are ready to move on. There's just so much more in life than having to constantly be stressed out and dealing with this crap. All right, so let's let this class begin. All right, so you have a politician that maybe has never run before, and we're just going to start like that, okay? And they've got this plan that they present to you, the voter, and you like it. And many people like this plan, and they're like, okay, yeah, this is what we need in our community, in our state, in our city, whatever it is. And hey, y'all get out of there. And you vote for this person. Now this person gets it there, and then all of a sudden, everything that they wanted to do, they find out they're not allowed to do it. Either other people in Congress or maybe other people in the Senate tell them, no, you can't do that. Then you have these other groups, which we're going to call lobbyists. And what a lobbyist is, more or less, they work for a big company or an organization, or it could be a charity organization. It could be just a group of people that, decided to get together and defend one-legged men. I'm just making up something really stupid. Okay, and that's what they're focused on, only one-legged men. And, and they go in, they get all these attorneys, and they present all these laws, and they raise all this money. And then what they do is they'll go up to a politician, and they're like, hey, I just saw that, you ran this race, you did it, raising money. I saw that the church helped you out, whatever. They're like, you know what? We're going to back you, and we're going to give you all the money you need to run your campaign and to fund everything that you want done. All you have to do is look at what we're presenting you. And this is what our organization is about. And we're for the one-legged man. And we want to make sure that he gets those prosthetics before somebody who lost both their legs. Whatever. I'm being stupid, and I'm just being stupid on purpose, okay? So this person that's in there just got voted in, says, wow, I could really use the extra help. And here's this organization that's offering me, to help fund the things that I need to do, help me with commercials and help me, get some fundraisers together so I can raise more money for the party. Yeah, I'm going to back this one-legged man organization. Okay, so now this organization has just bought you, okay? And they're doing everything. They're handling all the parties, and they're getting the volunteers to come in, and they're doing this. They're handing out the flyers, and the one-man organization, man, they're just doing everything they can. They're keeping you in there. So guess what? It's time to vote again, and they've got all this money. So they're like, we got this for you. We got this for you. You don't have to go back to your little church. We've got this. And, so they're doing all this stuff. And then next thing you know, you're like so in debt. And I don't mean debt money-wise. I mean just in debt of all the things that they've done for you. Then they are really going to start pushing all this stuff. And you're like, okay, well, you've been presented with this thing. And they're like, no, you can't vote for that. Because that kind of doesn't work with what we're wanting to do. We're wanting to do this. So you need to not vote for that, and you're going to vote for this, or you're going to present this and have it voted for. This is how lobbyists work. Now, when my post I put, did you vote for a person or did you vote for an organization? Because if you said when you went to the voters poll and you voted for a person, that's who you voted for. Okay? But these organizations, they get together, they have a lot of money, they have their own agendas that they want pushed. Because they're not in the government per se, they can do more without being in the government. Does that make sense? Okay? Whatever they want to do, they're doing it outside the government. They need people in the government to vote what they want. So let's say you want to have Tuna Wednesdays, but they want to have Hot Dog Wednesdays. Who do you think is going to win? Well, of course, the person that's putting more of the money into this person's political campaign is going to vote for that organization. They're not going to vote for what you want because maybe you only donate $5 every 3 months, where this organization gives free volunteers to help do stuff. They fund stuff. They send you some freebies. Maybe you get a trip to Tahiti every so often, or maybe they help you get that brand new luxury car, or whatever it is they do. They go outside of their way to make sure you have everything that you want. You just have to do what they want. So who is technically sitting in that office? Is it that person or is it that organization? Now this is important because this is where we are now. The people that you are voting for, they're not doing shit, okay? And if they do decide to get a conscience and do what's right for us, the normal everyday people, the organizations say, oh, we're going to cut your money off. And then they go on the news media and they make it sound like you're a terrible person because you're not doing what this organization wants. You're not voting the way they want you to vote. So they're going to smear you in the news. They're going to blast you on the TV news. They're going to go through newspapers and magazines. And they're going to talk about how bad you are because you're not voting this way. Oh, no, we can't back somebody who votes for, Tuna Wednesdays. That's totally against what, the American people need. And we've explained and we've shown it, and they're just not listening to us, and so we're not going to back them anymore. We're pulling our volunteers and our money out of that organization. We're going to find someone who sees that Hot Dog Wednesday is much better for the American people. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? And I'm being stupid on purpose. I have to keep explaining that to you because I don't want you to take it serious. So now this person, was getting all this money, had all these volunteers, he had all this help, and all of a sudden now, because he thought, I'm getting a lot of people that really want tuna on Wednesdays, and maybe that's what the people really want. What's the big deal? Just tuna. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to vote for this. And the next thing you know, here comes voting time again. And now you can't get enough money to get the commercial ads, to get the billboards, to get the flyers, to travel around your community, your state. No one will rent you a bus or, whatever. I mean, these people are vicious. Don't think they can cut you off completely, because they can, all right? They can even get so mad at you, maybe your bank won't give you a loan, or maybe the car dealership that you're leasing a car, maybe all of a sudden they're saying, we can't lease that car to you anymore. Whatever stupid crap you can think of, these big organizations and corporations and charities and all of this have that much power. And it happened because we allowed it to happen. All right? We did it. Maybe not just you and me, maybe our parents, our grandparents, but I mean the people. We did it. And we did it by allowing the people that sit in these offices to make these laws. Okay? When they said, well, we don't care what the American people want because we're smarter than them, and we are going to vote for what we think they need. That should piss you off, okay? Because having a college education or having a degree does not make you smart. It may make you book knowledgeable. It may make you knowledgeable about one certain thing, but it does not make you a whole-rounded, smart, enlightened person. So everyone that ever hears that come out of a politician's mouth should get so angry. You should not want them in that office, and you should not accept that as an answer. Okay? You are not stupid. What you are is programmed. Okay? What happens is they start you off at a very young age. They put you into a school system, and they get teachers in there to teach a certain program that they have to stay on, right? And this program gets more radical every so many years. For what I learned in high school is not even half of what my son learned in high school. And now what they're teaching in high school isn't even half of what he learned in high school. I heard and I read that in certain states, they don't want to teach math anymore. They said because some people of certain colors cannot keep up with math, so it's not fair to teach it. Now, some of you who have a little bit of smarts in your head may say, well, that's stupid. What if someone says, I need 5 of those, and they can't count? Well, yeah, that's math. You have to be able to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, if you don't teach math, they don't know what 5 is. They don't know how to count. They don't know how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, figure anything out. Now, I'm not a math musician thing. I'm not great at math. I never was. It hurt my head to get around, especially when they started doing the algebra, A plus B equals D, E, C, whatever. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Now, you want me to add something? I can add. I can count. I can count money. I learned that the hard way. But if you want me to do some algebra or some trigonometry or some really long calculations that's got a bunch of zigzag numbers and letters and symbolism, I'm lost, okay? So I'll be the first to tell you I am not great at math. But I know enough to survive. I'm not going to be building any buildings anytime soon. I'm not going to make any skyscrapers, build any bridges. I'm not going to do all that. So I'm content with the knowledge that I have because I know that I'm not doing that other stuff. I don't need trigonometry. I don't think I'm ever going to do anything where I need trigonometry. So thank God for that because it would give me a migraine. That's not what I'm supposed to do. So this is why they do these things. So they tell you it's for your good. It's good that you don't know how to do math because he doesn't understand it. So you shouldn't know it either. And this makes you equal because now you both don't know it, but I do, which makes me a better person. So now I can tell you what to do because you don't know how to do it anymore. And you need people like me who know how to do this stuff because you don't know how to do it, but you're not smart enough to understand it. And I am because I'm better than you. So you need to listen to me. This is how they do it. So you're at a young age. This is what you're taught. You grow up not knowing how to think for yourself because your whole life someone did the thinking for you. Then you become an adult and you're not quite sure what to do in life. You're kind of figuring out because they've taken out learning how to cook, learning how to sew, learning how to super glue two things together, whatever the shit. They've taken it all out. So you can't do nothing. All right? And now you're so dependent on the TV telling you how to do something. You're so dependent on the people that you work for to tell you to do something. You're so dependent on other people and politicians to tell you because you don't know what to do because you never ever was given the opportunity to think here for yourself. That's the right they're taking away from you. And you may say, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, it has to do with a lot. Because we're not able to think for ourselves and we vote these politicians in, and we're taught at a very young age that people that go to college and study these degrees and become lawyers, they're smarter than you because you're not smart enough to do that. Otherwise, you'd be one. So you get the mentality thinking, well, I have to listen to this person because he's smarter than me. And if he says that this is what I need, then that's what I need, and I'm going to do it. He says, I don't need a handgun. Well, that's fine because he's smarter than me, and he knows I don't need one. And why do I need one? We haven't had a civil war in how many years? I don't need one. He's smarter than me, and he says I don't need it anymore, that they kill people, and I believe him because he's smart. So I'm not going to get one, and I'm not going to vote for any things that would help people that want one because he's smarter than me. Do you understand where I'm getting at? They tell you these things. Then the other thing they do is they get the media to push this propaganda, okay? So now you've got these people on TV who look really nice. They have their hair done really great. They have great camera, great lighting, not like me. And they're smiling at you. And every night they come into your home and you listen to them. And you trust them because they're like family, Every day they're telling you stuff. And they're saying, guns kill people. And you start to hear it over and over and over. And then you get this, guns kill people. Now, I'm going to tell you something here, and you're going to laugh. But it's the truth. How many times have you seen a handgun just going down the street by itself? How many times have you seen shotguns or rifles, or we'll even say knives, just going down the street by themselves? People kill people. All right? But they don't tell you that. Okay? Now, you want to know something else? If you want to just take it as the weapon itself that kills the people, let's see. What else kills people? Drugs. Drugs kill people. That's the illegal kind and the kind that you can get over the counter, and even the kind that your doctor prescribes to you. Those kill people. Maybe it won't kill you today. Maybe it'll kill you in a couple of years. Maybe if you take too much of it, it'll kill you immediately. Okay? Do you hear the media pushing that a lot? No. Do you know that cars kill people? How many times have you seen a car accident and there was a fatality? But the media doesn't tell you about the cars kill people. Falling out of a bathtub. So yes, slips and falls kill people. Wet floor kills people. Um, what else can kill someone? Let's see. Something falling on your head. Let's say a tree falls on your head. So technically you could say trees kill people. Okay? I can get so stupid with what can kill a person. It's ridiculous. So quit listening to what they're telling you and see it for what it is. All right? When you wake up, these things that you hear aggravate you. Okay? I know that I can use a weapon that could kill somebody. I could technically maybe use this. Okay? It's a cell phone. All right? Maybe. I know I could use this. This is a steak knife. Okay? But how many times have you seen a steak knife walking down the street? You don't. So I'm not even going to say that, all right? I want you to understand, when they just say that this kills people, you have to realize that these things are not alive. They're not robotic. They don't have a soul. They don't have a spirit. They don't have legs. They don't have eyeballs. So they can't even see. How would they know who to kill? How would they know where to go? How would they get there? Can they drive a car? Do they catch the bus? Do they go down to the local bus stop, stand there, get on the bus, go to their destination? So it's stupid to say that this kills people when people kill people and they use this form of method to kill the person. One of my favorite things to do when I studied law, because I find it fascinating, and hopefully when NESARA, it is rolled out, guys. NESARA is rolled out. I don't know if you knew that. It was also announced during the Trump rally. It came across the screen. It rolled. It's a soft rollout. With that being said, do know that you should be watching your credit reports to see if anything is falling off. As far as the full reset, it has not happened yet. We are waiting on that, and I will touch on that as well. But I just want to put this out there. So when NESARA does fully roll out, I am going to look into how NESARA, because we're going to go back to common law, not maritime law. And that is a whole nother video, which I would have to watch some more documentations just so I can figure out how to present it to you. But know that maritime law has to do with water and the sea and Britain, okay? Common law is about common stuff. Has nothing to do with England, has nothing to do with the sea and the water and the wording that we use. So I'm going to try to learn the different things. Now, some of our laws will change. And I was listening to something today, and they were saying when we get under this full NESARA, which puts us under common law, that crime rate is going to go down because, and I've already stated this, maybe not in a video, maybe in Facebook chat, maybe to other people, that they're not going to tolerate the crap that's been going on. So if you go into a store and you purposely rob something, you're going to be arrested. But what they're going to do is they're going to find out why you did it. They're going to talk to you. Now, maybe police are not very good counselors. They're going to kind of ask you, they're going to see where you're at, and then they're going to bring a counselor in. Okay? Then this counselor is going to evaluate you. And they're going to find out, 1, do you have a job? 2, where are you at on your education? 3, is there anything that could be blocking your thinking captivity, as far as your level of education, maybe your IQ number, any trauma, anything like that. And if they see that it's something like that, maybe you had a wound, maybe you fell down and hit your head, and that makes your thinking not right, they can put you in a med bed. They can fix that, and then you will think straight, okay? These are the things they're going to do. They're going to help you so you don't steal, so you don't rob, so you don't hurt other people. They're going to figure out what it is that got you to that place, and they're going to help you get out of it. That's what's cool about NESARA and going back under common law, okay? Let's say They did everything they could to help you, and you still just have to go into these stores and steal merchandise. That's just, you're going to do it no matter what. You think it's funny. You think you're not going to go to jail, whatever. When you do get convicted and go to jail, they're going to state how many times you'd been arrested, what they did to help you, how you did not accept the help, or how it did not work, and that you're a repeat offender, and you are going to go to jail. When you go to jail, you're not going to be sitting around in the weight room lifting weights or doing whatever you're doing, sneaking the drugs in, talking to your girlfriends on your cell phone, or making money while you're in jail. You are actually going to work. You are going to be rehabbed. Not like they do right now. It's going to be totally different. It's going to be an overhaul of the prison system, okay? Now this, what I heard today, clarifies what I had already envisioned. So I am very confident when I'm talking about this. So this is going to be a whole different thing. So I want to learn as much as I can. So I'm going to be restudying this, because what we do now is not under common law. It's under maritime law. And like I said, I'll try to do some more studying on maritime law, and then I'll make a video and try to do it the Jackie explanation way to kind of help you understand. But I'd highly recommend that you look up maritime law and learn as much as you can. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be horrified, and things are going to make sense to you. So the way that we do things in law right now will change, okay? So knowing all of this, I want to learn. I am going to try to help people. I am really going to do everything I can. I'm excited about what the future can bring. I'm hoping here it's an any day thing. So we're going to go back to what I was talking about with lobbyists. Now, do you kind of understand now how you have this mentality where you start at a very young age? They condition you not to think for yourself. They condition you to look to people that are in higher position to be better than you. They keep you in the lower vibration, so you don't want to challenge them. They make challenging them a bad thing. You don't challenge them. You don't do that. They make people that are like that to be the bad guy. You're reprimanded, you're punished, you're ridiculed, and you're made fun of if you stand up for yourself. And it's to keep you in line, okay? All of this makes sense when you open your eyes. And any of you who went to school with me know that I've always had a big mouth. I've always stood up for myself. I was constantly in trouble for something, or constantly being picked on about something, because I did not accept it. And I still don't accept a lot of things, and that has never changed, and it will never change with me. And I am constantly under attack because of the way I am. Now, some of you may be suffering, some may be suffering more than me, but understand, we're all suffering. And some of us are just suffering a little bit more. And yes, I feel like I'm going to break sometimes. So, but I'm still compelled to help you. I'm still compelled to try to make you understand something that you're not actually understanding, because for some reason you don't want to accept it. It like hurts. So remember when I told you before, when you learn something new that you've never heard before and your brain starts to hurt and you get this headache, you're like, oh my God, you got to walk away from it, okay? Because I've had to do this. Many a time when I started this crazy research, I have to put it down, I have to walk away, look at videos, go do a puzzle, go outside, go do something else, and then I go back to it, and it becomes easier for my brain to accept it. That's what you have to do. And you have to know it's called deprogramming, because you were programmed. The minute you were born, you were programmed, all right? Whether or not your parents did it on purpose, it's because they were programmed. And we can go backwards in time to the programming, okay? And each time we're going forward, the programming gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And I can give you another perfect example about programming. I saw some pictures. I can dig it up and look for it again, but I was horrified and I just scrolled past it. Where someone is knitting, and they're about this big. It's a little bitty man's looks like a man's, but it's knitted, okay, of a penis and some balls. And it's made strictly for little girls who are in diapers or in, just toddlers. And they can put that in their underwear, and it's knitted so it's soft to make the little girl look like she's got a little boy genitalia. Now, before you can even talk, your parents are putting this in your diaper or your underwear. What is that called? Programming. You're programming this child before it even knows anything to think that this is normal. Okay? When has anybody ever held an infant? I'm being serious now. When have you ever held an infant and it told you, I want to be the opposite sex? How can you look at an infant and say, wow, that's not what you're supposed to be. Let me go buy a fake penis and some balls, put it in your diaper, and then you'll be right. Who does that? Apparently, people do, because it's happening. It's a website. I forgot what the company is called, and you order it, and you buy it, and you stick it in your little girl's diaper and in her underwear. And this is before she can even talk. Okay? That's programming. That is programming. So before you even have a chance to even try to think for yourself, your parents have already programmed you. That's how bad it's getting. Now, maybe when we were younger, if you're my age, maybe it wasn't that way. We can say that maybe growing up, and I can say this from experience, if my dad didn't like a certain family, he would say, you can't play with those kids. Now, maybe my dad knew something I didn't know, but I would get in trouble if I would go to certain people's houses, if I talked to certain boys, because I was told he didn't know that family, and we can't talk to them, or they're not of a good family. You shouldn't be around them. I never judged a child for whatever their parents did, because it's not the child's fault. All right? It's not. You are born in a situation, and many of us who are born in situations, we do what we have to do. It doesn't make you a bad person if your father or your mother steals or embezzles or something. It just means that they're not perfect people, and maybe they're breaking the law, and maybe they should go to jail. But if you're a child, why would that be your fault, and why should you punish that child? Now, maybe I shouldn't be around the parents. Maybe I shouldn't be in the home. Maybe I shouldn't go anywhere near the parents. But talking to that child should not affect me, and it shouldn't affect that child, because maybe me being friends with that child was the only decent thing that child had. Does that make sense? And that's how I've always thought. So I used to get so mad at my dad when he wouldn't let me talk to somebody. You can't talk to him. Well, I didn't know what was going on with the parents. I just knew that I liked the kid. I liked her, thought we got along. We made jokes. Maybe I was the only thing that was normal in that particular child's life at the time. Maybe I was that child's saving grace, because maybe I gave them a laugh. Maybe they were able to laugh around me. Maybe telling me, there are good days or bad days or whatever. Maybe that's what they look forward to. And there was plenty of kids we went to school with that had problems. I'm not going to name a name, but there was one who used to wear a jacket to school every day, even on very hot days. And as I got older, he finally told me why. It was his stepmother forced him to wear this jacket. And if he didn't wear it, he got in trouble. And he just quit fighting it because his dad went along with the mother, and he was being mentally abused. Now, he went to school. He didn't have a lot of friends because people thought he was weird, because he always wore a jacket. No matter how hot it was outside, he always had a jacket on. We didn't know. We never asked, or anything like that. And I felt so bad when I learned that about this friend. He's a nice guy. Poor thing. he went through hell and back. So that's what I'm saying is, it's not the child's fault, it's the parent's fault. So when a parent tells you that you can't talk to somebody, that's programming. So I can even say at a young age, I was programmed not to talk to certain people, to stay away from them. And that's kind of wrong, unless there's like child is, wrong or something. How do you handle that as a parent? I don't really know. I know that there was kids when my son was growing up I didn't like, and that was because of the psychic part of me. And I couldn't really explain what it was about those children's energy. And my son would get very upset with me. Mama, you don't like anybody. I said, it's because the people that you're choosing to be friends with. I said, they're going to get you in trouble. And I work too much, and you can't get in trouble. I'm not here, and they're going to take you away from me if you get in trouble. And of course, there was a few incidents where my son finally broke down and told me some things that they'd done, and the police came and talked to him, and I was horrified. I was like, what the hell are you doing? I'm at work. You can't do that. My son would wait till after I went to work, and I worked graveyard shift, so I would go to work sometimes at 2 a.m. My son would wait till I went to work and decide to go to a park. Well, you can't go to the park at night, but my son would wear something stupid like a ski mask because he thought it was funny. And he'd go run around in a park in a ski mask. Well, of course, the police are going to question him. So did that make me a bad person? No, it made my child a silly person. So I could understand why someone would say, don't hang out with that child. Because if I was a parent and my child was hanging out with the way my child was acting, I would have told my child to stay away from him too. But it didn't make me a bad person. Or if it was the total opposite, where I was running around in the park at midnight wearing a ski mask being stupid, it wouldn't be my child's fault. I'm getting off the subject. But anyway, you kind of see where I'm going with the programming. And so we've all been through some type of programming through our lives. I think the programming that's going on now is right at child abuse. Maybe what I went through maybe was borderline abuse, and maybe what my parents went through was getting close to borderline, and maybe his parents were, just whatever. But you kind of see where I'm going. They keep pushing the limit as we go down. And the whole reason to do that is to keep you confused, to keep you in the lower vibrations, to keep you where you have to look to other people. And that's where we get back to the politicians being smarter than you. And the politicians are really not the ones running the country. It's your businesses, it's your corporations, it's your organizations, it's your charity, it's, golly, it just goes on and on and on. And these lobbyists, their whole job is to find these politicians and just stay on them like white on rice, and to make sure they're doing exactly what that business wants. But like I said, when you go and vote, you're not voting for a business. You don't go in there and look, AT&T, Verizon, C-Spire. Which business do I want to run the country for the next 4 years? Well, let me just try AT&T. No, that's not what you're voting for. You're voting for Jim, Marsha, or Sally. You know what I'm saying? You're not voting for the businesses. But technically, that's what we've been doing. And people have been allowing it because you don't say why. You're not asking the right questions. And you're not standing up and educating people who do not understand. You're keeping your mouth shut. You're saying your happy ass on a couch. You're watching the news people tell you that you're crazy. So you think, okay, well, Robin Roberts just said, if you do this, you're crazy. So I must be. So I don't want to be crazy. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Whatever the heck they're doing, they're brainwashing you. They're controlling you. And you're allowing it. And I don't know how else, in layman's term, as simple as I can, to explain that to people. It's really hard. So what you have to do, and I've noticed this, and I've seen clips on it, late night people going, and the working soccer mom sits at her house in front of her computer and said, I know that you can't do that because I do my research. What makes her better than anyone else because she does research. What about the scientist? And then people in the audience are going, oh, that's so funny. Hello? Doing your research does not mean you're just sitting in front of a tablet listening to other people talk. Doing your research means you're typing in a certain subject. Let's use fluoride. Okay? So you type in fluoride. You read what fluoride is. Okay? You're going to read what, how it came about, what the chemical compounds are, how it's made, what it does, and then you're going to be like, well, okay, this can actually hurt people. And then you're going to say, well, why is it in my toothpaste? So then you're going to go in, you maybe do some research on toothpaste to see how much fluoride they're actually putting in or whatever. Then maybe you're going to say, well, I'm hearing it's in my drinking water. Let me see. Then maybe you're going to go into your city. You're going to see what chemicals they use to put in the water, how much of the chemicals. Maybe you're going to take each of those chemicals. Maybe you're going to look them up yourself. Maybe you're going to go as far as call the Poison Control Center and ask them if this amount, this much, so many times a day could be poisonous and what you could get from it. And people do this, okay? That's called research. Why is that stupid? And why is that funny? Why are you laughing? Why, when these stupid comedians get up there on late night, say this stuff, why are you laughing? Why is that funny? Do you know that mother who sat there for 5 hours researching that, made the phone calls, looked up the ingredients, looked up how much, figured out with math that she could use on her own how much she was injecting in her body, maybe took her body weight and put that in there and then started saying, well, I am having some leg cramps. I'm noticing that I'm having a little bit of memory loss. So you're starting to look up, what can cause memory loss, and then you find this, and you're taking this from here and this from here, and you're doing your research, and then you're doing a big sheet, and then finally you come out and you're like, oh my God. It's from drinking this much water out of the tap without verifying it, brushing my teeth this many times, using this much toothpaste, using this brand of toothpaste because they have this much in there. That's called research. Does it take a lot of time? Hell yeah, it does. But why does that make that woman stupid or that man stupid? Why? Why are you laughing at it? Why are you saying that she's not using science? She's not trusting the science. The science is what put that shit in there in the first place, okay? That wasn't somebody that didn't have any idea of anything and said, let me just put this in there. Let me go get some rat poisoning and mix it up with this and this and this and this. No, it wasn't somebody who just came up with stuff. It was people that knew what they were doing. And they used science to figure out the exact small amounts so it wouldn't affect you immediately, but it would do it over the years. Why is it that people have more trouble with dementia and Alzheimer's now than maybe what they used to? Do you not think it's the shit that they put in the food, in the water? How did they know how much to put in so it wouldn't happen immediately? It would take over years. That's called science. Doing the research and figuring out how much that shit is, how much you're intaking, that's called research, and that's smart. Do you understand now just how I broke that down to you? But you let these people tell you that being smart and doing your own research is a bad thing. Not listening to the expert is what you're supposed to do, which we go back to elementary school where they tell you that you're too stupid to think for yourself and you have to listen to them. But as you get older, they keep you in line by telling you that if you're not listening to the experts, that you're stupid. So you're still being mind controlled. You're still being conditioned. You're still being controlled, okay? You're still being brainwashed, and you're allowing it. And then you laugh at their jokes. This is how we got where we are. Now, this is not the whole complete picture of how we got here, but this is a lot of it. And every day you sit there and you don't read what I put, or you don't listen to what I say, or you don't listen to anybody else, because I'm not an expert. I don't want to be an expert, okay? I was chosen by God to do what I do for some reason. And don't ask me why, because I can't tell you. All I know is that I am a light worker, and I am compelled to do this because I chose this before I was born. I chose this life. I chose to heal people and to help them. Okay? Does that make me a saint? No, it does not. Does that make me a prophet? No, it does not. It does not make me anything but what I am is an everyday human being that is suffering because I am trying to help you and you're not listening to anything I'm saying. Okay? I am not one of these podcasters that gets on here and spreads propaganda, raising people's hopes, asking for money, traveling around the countryside. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. Okay? I never have and I never will because I don't want to be that way because God said that's not what you're supposed to do. Okay? All these people that have these channels and people watch them continuously do not realize that they're listening to somebody who's not actually doing God's work. They're doing what's best for them. They're making lots of money off of people who want to hear what they have to say. And they feel compelled to give their hard-earned money to them because they say this is their job. Well, you know what? I have a job. Okay? And I work a lot. And then I come home and I do research. And then I'm compelled to tell you what I find. And I do this on my own time. All right? What I do is I do sell herbs and crystals. So if anybody wants to buy that from me, then you buy that from me. But other than that, I don't ask for nothing. I don't start my own podcast to make money, to become rich and famous, to be on other people's talk shows, to travel around the countryside on a bus so people can pay money to come see me because that's not who I am. What I will do, and I will say it again, is when everything is said and done, I'm going to go to find a humanitarian project that can help me get the right stuff together, help me get the plan going much better, help me get the business going, a business loan, and open up my own store. And then on my own time, I'm going to have a room that I'm going to do conferences. And I'm going to help people who want the help to listen to what I have to say, to help them grow spiritually, okay? Because when all this is said and done, everything you think you know, you're going to find out you didn't know anything, and a lot of people are going to be confused and they're not going to know where to go. I want to be something that the people in my general vicinity can come to and say, Jackie, can you help me? I'm confused and I'm scared. And then I'm going to tell them, yes. I'm going to have this on this night or this day for this long period of time. Just bring you a bottle of water, bring you some cookies, whatever. We're going to sit down. I'm going to do talk a little bit, and then we're going to. You can ask me some questions. We're going to figure it out together as a group. We're going to be a family, and we're going to get through this together because that's going to be my job. I am not going to be a preacher. I am not going to be a pastor. I am not going to be a minister. I am going to be Jackie. That is what I'm going to be. I am a light worker. I chose this life, okay? I'm going to help people move up into the higher dimensions and the higher vibrations, because when you're there, nothing bothers you. And as much as I would like to be there all the time, I get bombarded with very heavy negativity thrown at me continuously. So it's hard for me, and sometimes I just have to step away. I've got to recuperate, I've got to rethink, I've got to pray, and I have to wait for the answers to tell me what I need to do. As I have no one, okay? I have no one but myself and my animals. That's what I have. So when I go through something, I do it by myself. So I'm totally dependent on my spirituality to get me through this. And I don't want anyone to have to go through what I go through. So I'm going through it, I guess, so I can understand how other people are going to feel and be able to be a better teacher and help them better. And hopefully they'll help others. Does that make sense? It's like doing the, you go to the drive-thru, you buy the person behind you's a meal, and they're like, oh, well, let me pay for the guy behind me, and then it goes on and on and on and on. That's kind of what I want to do. I want to help people, get them to a point where they understand, they know where they are, so they can reach out and help others, because that's what I want to do. I don't want any praise. I don't want a Nobel Peace Prize. I don't want to be on the news. I don't want to have any recommendations. I don't want to wear a pendant or have some medallion wrapped around my neck. I don't want to be praised. I want to have a statue raised in my honor, anything, because that's not what you're supposed to do. Okay? God said that's not what you're supposed to do. You do not praise people. You do not worship people. All right? You listen, you learn from them, but you do not, worship them. And I don't want to be that. I want to be just remembered for being a good person and doing everything that I could right in life to help others, and doing everything I can to make anything that I've done wrong right. And there's still some things I need to do, and I'm just waiting on the Sargasar, and then there's a few things that I have to take care of and make those wrongs right and cover those bases and get that stuff taken care of. And that is still on the back of my head. I have not forgotten, and it will be done. I'm just nowhere in a predicament to do a lot of things that need to be done. But I'm not a perfect person, and I strive to be a better person, because that's what you're supposed to do. There was only one perfect person that was born, and that was Jesus. And we are never going to be a Jesus. Every day we're going to strive to be more like Jesus. Does that make sense? Because that's what it's supposed to be. Jesus was so pure. He was God's son. It was God himself, more or less, giving more of himself and becoming Jesus. It's kind of hard to explain. I see them as two different things, but because I know what God is pure energy, he's able to manifest. So even though there's God in you, there's God in me, there's God in my pets, there's God in the trees, there's God in the flowers, that more of God was in Jesus. And this is what made Jesus perfect. Jesus had every gift. He had great compassion and love for strangers, and something that I could never be. I don't think I could be as loving and as kind and as smart as Jesus, but I can strive to do better, to be more like Jesus. And that's what everyone should be wanting to do. So, getting back to lobbyists, do you understand now what I'm trying to tell you? If you're not quite understanding how I just explained this to you, and how even though these other little stories offside, it still makes sense, because I'm trying to explain to you how you are conditioned to obey. It started as soon as you came out of your mother. You were conditioned, you were taught, you were disciplined to obey. But some of us are programmed with a strong will, and we break away from that, and we are considered troublemakers, and we are ridiculed, we are punished, we are made fun of. But we are the kindest people you would ever come across. We don't mean anybody anything. Why we do what we do is because we're trying to protect you, even though we don't know you. Okay? So it's hard for us to stay in this line. What we're trying to do is teach you how to be more of who you should have been, because everybody was put on this planet, had a plan. All right? I know what mine is now. It took me a long time, but I know what mine is now. And you can figure out what yours is too. But when you're conditioned and you're told to stay in this line, you never can figure out who you wanted to be, what you wanted to be, why you were really here. And people take that as, well, that's just, you're not going to find out till you die. I never understood why I was supposed to wait to find out why I was here till I die. Well, that doesn't make sense. I'm dead now. So did I do what I wanted to do? Was that my plan, to come here and be tortured for my whole life and then die? God, that doesn't sound like a wonderful life. What? Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on a second. I've got a heater going. And here we go. Let's see if that cools that off. Okay.